Hi, my name is Jen Praw, and today I'm going to be explaining what relevant sources are for my ERIT 2 class. So what is a relevant source? Relevant sources are sources that strongly support a line of argument. Relevant sources are important because they're going to be the main thing in your writing to support and validate your argument. When choosing what evidence you want to use, it is important to go back and look at your thesis or the main idea that you are focusing on to make sure it's relevant and will actually give you good support. Irrelevant sources can distract the reader from the central idea that you're trying to focus on, so in order to have a really strong argument, it is essential that your sources are relevant. Now let's look at some examples of sources and practice determining whether they are relevant or not. So the first one we're going to look at is, according to government data dating back to the 1960s, rates of teenage pregnancy are close to an all-time low in the UK, suggesting that concerns over increasingly lax teenage attitudes towards sex may be unfounded. So this one is a great example of a relevant source because it has data on the topic from over 50 years and it directly supports the argument at hand, so it would really strengthen your argument. The next one we're going to look at says, according to reports in several of the UK's leading newspapers, teenage use of dating and hookup apps has risen to an all-time high, suggesting the prevalence of increasingly lax attitudes towards sex amongst teenagers. This example has some relevance to the argument at hand, but it would not be sufficient enough to validate and support your argument, so you'd have to have something else too. And the last example we're going to be looking at says, according to reports from the hospitality industry, the number of young people drinking to excess in bars is close to an all-time low in the UK, suggesting media concerns over increasingly lax teenage attitudes towards sex may be unfounded. This example is not relevant to the argument because there's little correlation between the evidence provided and the argument at hand, so this would not be a relevant source.